So, what's it like to drive? Good. Here it is, the new Mk8 Fiesta ST. I say new because in Australia it is new. We've only had it since May 2020. I know that European countries have had the car for 2 years now, but this is my first test drive and my first brand new car review. Let's have a look around the car. Let's go for a walk around. So the front end is actually quite nice in person. The front mount intercooler sits nice and close to the front grille, so not fantastic for stone chips, but good for airflow. We do get the LED headlamps as stated in the brochure. 18-inch wheels, which I quite like. I do like those wheels. They're a cool design. But on certain profiles you can see how it slightly resembles the Mk7, just the next generation. Now we only get 4 doors in Australia. In the Mk7 we only got the 2-door. They went the other way this time and only gave us the 4-door. But we do get some pretty good spec with this 4-door, so I'll go through that a bit later. Coming around the back, twin tailpipe exhaust. Actually sounds quite good, this 3-cylinder, even with a standard exhaust. So yeah, I do like this much more in person than in videos and photos. Let's check out the interior and the engine. Moving into the interior, it is leaps and bounds better than the Mk7 Fiesta ST. We do have like a pretty consistent plastic on the doors. Only differences being these nice parts that you touch. Got some leather padding for your armrest. Some nice Ford Performance side sills there as you step in. The steering wheel's very nice, and it's actually a heated steering wheel too, so we do get that luxury. We only get the one spec, so Ford Australia have decided what we want, but I must say some of the things that we've actually got in this car are very nice indeed. This is a plastic with it looks like a thick clear coat on it to make it look like a bit of a carbon look. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but that's quite nice. You'll see that throughout the whole front of the dash, which is nice. The plastic here actually goes to the windscreen, so it's not like you're looking at different plastics in your view all the time. And these seats are amazing. So they're leather and suede. They're very nice, they're very comfortable. Similar to the Recaros in the Mk7, maybe a little bit wider, but they're instantly a little bit more comfortable. So I think that if you're not used to narrow seats that are so molded, you'll get used to these ones a lot quicker than the Mk7 seats. The main issue I've had so far is when adjusting my seat, all the way back there is your recliner, and it's a hard squeeze between the this panel here and the actual knob itself. But everything else, like nice touches of leather, everything that you feels really nice and feels pretty good quality actually. The dash is a lot nicer, you don't have that Sony stereo, and Sync 3. So I've had a little bit of a play with it, and it's more than 3 times better than Sync in the Mk7. So the back, we've got very similar. We've got a much smaller arm pad here, but that's still wrapped in leather. The seats are still very nicely trimmed in leather and suede. So very nice indeed. That's the legroom if I am driving, so that's my driving position. So there's not a whole lot. You wouldn't take, you know, big adults for long trips, I don't think. But if it's just short trips or you've got kids to put in the back, that should be enough legroom for them. But all in all, it's very nice. So just a little bit more on the interior. We've got a LCD dash here, which is really nice. You can enter any of your screens and change your speedo. Had it on the Ford Performance one before. You can scroll through. It's like a calm compass. It tells you what street you're on as well. It tells you what music's playing. You connect to your phone, your vehicle settings. So this is where you can go in the information display, driver assistance, all that sort of thing. Really easy to scroll through. Really easy to scroll through. Driver assist. Now this is where your launch control is. Pre-collision assist. But yeah, very easy, very nice. Sync 3, very easy, very nice. Just all done through a touchscreen. I did connect my phone. It took all of 2 minutes once I'd found the menus. On your mirrors, you get blind spot monitoring, which is very handy. Coming down here, this is a bit of an odd shape. So like the Fiesta Mark 7 was an odd shape vertically, this is an odd shape, you know, horizontally laying down. It's not really the shape of your phone, so it's kind of hard to put your phone in there. There's nothing else. You do get a USB charger here. Nice leather gaiter. This is leather, and unlike the Mark 7, the boot is actually leather as well. Coming into your center console, you may not be able to see, you've got a removable tray, but down in there you do have another USB, so you can have things in there on charge as well. So another little improvement from the Mark 7 ST. All in all, an all-round better car. Is it worth mid-30s for me? I'm still not sold on it at mid-30s, but I think if there's deals to be had and sales to be had, and maybe if there's a facelift that comes out, or as they get older towards the end of their life, you might be able to get them a fair bit cheaper. I've got my GoPro stuff in there. The glove box is much of a muchness. But yeah, it's actually been a really nice drive. I'm lucky I've had it for about 3 hours now, so thank you for Brenton, and thank you for Sinclair Ford in Penrith. Here's the engine. We'll go and take a closer look. This is the 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine, so it's a 1.5 litre, which is a bit of a downsize from the Mark 7. However, powers up to 147 kilowatts or 200 horsepower and 290 newton meters of torque, which is an increase from 240 in the Mark 7. Now, driving the car, it's geared differently to the Mark 7. You just need to be wary of what gear you're in at what speed. For example, 50 kilometers an hour, don't be in fourth, be in third. 80 kilometers an hour, be in fifth, and definitely not sixth. You know, so they have re-geared it to match the engine. All in all, I think the Mark 8 engine bay is a little bit neater, just a little bit nicer to look at than the Mark 7 engine bay. I do like this cover. I like the fact that it's not a weird shape and it's just a rectangle. It's got the Ford Performance logo again. So yeah, I think Ford Australia have actually done well in negotiating what car we get, but a little bit sooner would have been nice, I think. Alright, let's get to driving it. That's what we're all here to see. So what is it like to drive? It's bloody good. I'm really impressed with how the car's driving. Instantly, it's just a nice place to be. As soon as you sit in the driver's seat, you know, you've got a nice steering wheel, a nice dash layout, nice open and clear dash layout as well, which is a massive big difference. Everything is much nicer to look at. Everything's more comfortable. The heated steering wheel's amazing. They're life changers. They're so good. I love them. The heated seats work really well. Changing gears is just like very similar to the Mark 7 if you've driven a standard one of them. It's nice, it's comfortable, it's easy, you can feel what it's doing. The clutch is much the same. The pedals are actually the same as what's in the Mark 7 ST, and the spacing feels the same. Everything driver wise feels very, very similar. best thing is the ride. So the comfort of this, again, is just way ahead of the Mk7. It doesn't seem to lose too much in handling, as we'll find out shortly. It doesn't seem to lose anything in handling, actually, but it's just much more comfortable. Much more comfortable. You still get a lot of feedback through the seat and the steering wheel, but it's not jarring. Like when you very first step into an ST and drive it, you think, oh, this is rough and bumpy. This is like you'd want a daily hot hatch to feel like. You get feedback. You feel the bumps. The bigger bumps just aren't so jarring, which is a massive tick for me, because that was always one thing that I wanted different on my Mk7. Now, response-wise, if you're in race mode, it's really responsive. You just need to be 2,500 RPM and up to really, not see much lag at all. In normal mode, you do get some lag. It's much more linear and soft coming onto power when you put your foot down. But even then, like I said, the torque figures earlier, 290 Newton meters from a 3-cylinder 1.5 litre. It's just really, really impressive. As impressed as I was with the Mk7, I'm just as impressed with the Mk8, only more comfortable doing it, and I've got a much nicer view in front of me. So all in all, I really like the car. Is it worth the asking price? This is something I've been open with on Facebook pages and in groups and things like that. I don't know if I'd be comfortable paying mid $30,000 Australian drive away. It's still a lot for a small Fiesta. It is a more functional car. It's more comfortable. It's overall nicer. It definitely is that. It comes standard with Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which are really good. I've never driven on these tyres before, but they're really good. And also, just pulling out of a corner, the fact that it's got an LSD, so you don't need to search the aftermarket for an LSD and then pay lots to have it installed and found and bought. It really just pulls you. That was quite a sharp roundabout. It really just pulls you out of a corner, and it's really impressive how it does it. I really like this car. It's very nice. So we'll find some twisty roads. I'll face the camera forward and we'll have a chat about how it does handle. So these are the kinds of roads that these are built for: country roads and mountain roads. So let's see how we go. See how these Pilot Sport 4s grip, and see how the LSD goes. Wow. Well, they grip and they go. So just coming down a nice twisty road now. This is what these things are made for. The brakes initially are just like the standard Mk7 brakes from first feel. I'm not going to lean on them very hard at all. I need to be respectful of the car as well. But the torque coming out of a corner is very similar to the Mk7, probably more so than a standard Mk7. The Pilot Sport 4s, which are standard, and the LSD just pull it straight out of a corner. So on roads like this, you can definitely have a lot of fun. I would be interested to see how it goes on track, because my Mk7 does get quite a bit of understeer, but I'll put that down to bad tyres really. But this is great. These do only come in a 6-speed manual, which isn't all bad. I personally prefer manual, so if you do want a manual hot hatch, I think this one might be the only one on the market in this size and price range. So definitely get yourself out and test drive one if you're interested, if you're even thinking about it. If you're thinking about upgrading from a Mark 7, I'll say now it definitely is an upgrade in standard form. Everything is better. Definitely climbs uphill nicely too. In sport and race mode, I've noticed the crackles shifting from second to third, first to second, but not from third to fourth. So I'm not sure if it's mapped that way or if it's just not happening, but they are muffled. It's obviously a standard muffler on the car. They will probably get louder if you increase your muffler size and flow. But the torque, getting up hills is absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's like, it's just like the Mark 7. You think about it, it's like this is just a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder with a little turbo put on it. But it just pulls up a hill. It just keeps pulling. This is a really impressive little car. Just wanted to give a quick demonstration of what I was talking about at the start of the video about the gearing. Now, if you're doing 50 kilometers an hour in fourth, you're actually at 1750 RPM, which is quite low. And again, 70 in fifth, you're just on 2000 RPM, which is probably 2000 is probably right on the limit of where you'd really want to be driving around. If it's hilly or you're planning to overtake someone, you need to go back a gear, just for the good of the engine. You don't want it labouring too much. But here I am doing 80 kilometers an hour in fifth, and we're at just under around 2200 RPM, so it's not too bad. So fifth gear is your 80 cruising gear. One thing that's still there that does annoy me is the little upshift light. It always wants you to shift into the next gear, so you'll be cruising along at 60 in fourth. It's recommending that you go on a fifth, but if you do that, obviously you're going to labour the engine a bit too much. So I haven't found a way to get rid of it. I don't know if there is, but I just wish that was something that wasn't there. I know it's for economy, but it's just a little thing that bugs me. And after talking to people, I know it bugs other people too, especially if you can't get rid of it. But just driving along as a daily, very nice indeed. Very comfortable, very sedate, quiet. The road noise isn't too bad. Probably is better than it was in the Mark 7 when that was new. Very comfortable, very nice place. Thought I'd head back to the dealership this way and go over some speed bumps. It's definitely not as uncomfortable as the Mark 7, so it's still quite firm. You still need to go a bit slow, but there's a bit more dampening there, so you don't feel it as harshly. This is a pretty good way to describe it, actually. So again, props for making it more comfortable and still making it be able to handle the way that it does. It's really good. I'm not sure if it's picking it up on the camera also, but about 5 or 6 mil apart, most of the way across the windscreen, there's little zigzag lines. So it's got a heated windscreen as well. Hopefully, obviously I can't test it today, but hopefully that helps with the morning fogging up that you get really badly in the Mark 7. if your car's been parked outside overnight and not undercover, or if you're driving through fog or just a bit of a temperature change, altitude change, then yeah, they're pretty prone to fogging up a lot, and that's one real pet peeve of mine, driving mine in winter. So props for trying to fix that, and hopefully that does fix it, because that'd be really good, a really good additional feature to your daily drive without it having to annoy you all the time. How's this for a road for a test drive? Can't go too fast, obviously. Not in Mexico, but this is it. This is what these were built for. I've said it before in this video, but just the precision of the steering wheel. It's I can't work out if it is as precise as the Mk7 or if it just lacks a tiny little bit. I hope those pops and bangs are coming through. That was just a quick blurt in second to about 4,500. Almost every time in sport and race mode, from second to third, you'll get it. You get it a tiny little bit, sometimes third to fourth. So it's nice that it's subtle. It's nice that it's not overly loud, and you don't have to squint when you're going through a public place and it goes off. You can tolerate it. I can tolerate it. So that's quite nifty. Alright guys and girls, thanks for watching this far. Time for Fordy's final thought. I'll try not to make too many comparisons between the Mk7 and the Mk8. The Mk8 is an amazing car. I really enjoyed my test drive today. Thank you very much to Brenton at Sinclair Ford in Penrith for letting me go on such a long test drive, giving me permission to film. The guys were amazing out there. In every way that I want this to be improved, they've pretty much done it with the Mk8. From the ride is much more comfortable. Whether they make up with the grip and handling through the tyres in the LSD, you know, whatever they do, the handling doesn't seem too much different. The steering response and the throttle response I still think is a little bit better in the Mk7 ST, but as a daily to live with every single day and drive it to work and back and drive it to the shops and just have some fun in it, I think that you'd be more happy in the Mk8 just because it is nicer. You don't have mismatched plastics. Everything's more updated. Sync 3 is just a breeze. The dash is much nicer, more updated. You do get an option of a digital speedo in the middle there as well. One thing I found in the Mk8, I felt like I was going slower than I actually was. So a few times I've found myself going like 65 in a 60 zone, feeling like I was doing 55. So that was just something to get used to. And I also noticed that the orientation of the numbers on the dash seemed to be spaced a little bit further apart. So maybe that's why the dash looks like it climbs quicker, because between say 40 and 50 and 50 and 60 there's a bigger gap. So that might be a little bit of clever work there to make it feel like it's a quicker car. But all in all, I absolutely love the car today. I had a blast. Would I pay $36,500 for one? I still think no, basically because the Fiestas of the past, especially the Mk7, was the bang for buck hatch to buy in its class, being the smallest and cheapest hot hatch that you like category that you could get in. I think that they've lost that marketing tool there. They do have a cracking car, but they've just lost that bang for buck for me. It's yeah, I'm not sure that it's $7,000 more than what I've got in this car. Yes, it's got an LSD. Yes, it's nicer. Yes, it's more comfortable. And all those things to change would cost quite a bit of money, but I think for a standard car, it could have been priced a little bit better. if it got down to around 32, 33 later in its life, or when sales are on, I think I'll be much more tempted to go and buy one, because I do see the upgrades and I do see how much of a better car it is, so it is definitely worth more than what I paid for this. But yeah, and each to their own. I think if you're happy to pay it, go and get one, go and buy one. Test drive it first, you will love it. Sinclair Ford in Penrith got a demonstrator. They want you to go and drive it in hope that you will then put a deposit down. So the one that I drove today to order in, I think was around 36.8 drive away. To get a non-metallic paint colour, it was around 36.2 drive away. There wasn't really much negotiation to be had there either. So if you don't want to pay that much, wait around a bit. Wait for sales. Wait for it to go through its life cycle a little bit. But if you want one now, then drive one. You will love it. It is an awesome little car. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, guys. It's probably been a bit of a long one, but it's been awesome to make. I've loved it. Yeah, let me know your thoughts if you've got a Mark 7 wanting a Mark 8. If you've got a Mark 8, what you think of it. If you're thinking of jumping brands to a Ford Fiesta Mark 8. Yeah, I'm keen to have a chat, so post down below. Thanks, guys. See ya.